The Cottonwood County Citizen proudly presents Athlete of the Week. Royal Glass has over 17 years of experience specializing in auto glass. We are also here for your heavy equipment and farm machinery, as well as residential and commercial glass needs. When you need glass, call Royal Glass of Windham.
I'm joined right now by Mountain Lake sophomore Jake Evers, our athlete of the week this week. Congratulations, Jake.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Friday's game against Medelia. And coming into the week, Coach Kirk mentioned that the goal was to try and work on a few things that you guys have been struggling with over the course of the season. What was last week of practice like, getting ready for Friday's game?
Last week of practice was definitely not like what we all expected, because we didn't really expect a whole lot, but Kirk put us in situations that we were a little uncomfortable with, things that would have to challenge our brain, even like some things just to get us challenge ourselves, like not so much that was going to happen during the game, but like to get us mentally ready for anything.
Playing against a team that hadn't won a game yet is always a tough task, because you never really know what to expect, and quite frankly, a team like that really has nothing to lose. What was the task of just staying mentally sharp on going into Friday's game?
So our task going into Friday's game, us as a team, we always like to think that we're playing the defending state champs. Like, we don't cut anybody out. Like, their record doesn't matter. It's just us against them.
Right off the bat, you guys came out throwing the ball, which is a little bit unusual and uncharacteristic for the last couple of games. That had to be pretty exciting for you as the quarterback.
Yeah, throwing the ball this week definitely felt pretty good, especially like how it went. It went very well, and it kind of like almost adds a step to our game if we can keep that going, and that would help us a lot in the future.
First quarter, you hit a couple of touchdowns to Alex Blum, and from what I could tell, they were basically pretty much the same play. Take us through each of those touchdowns.
Well, for those touchdowns, we always like to run our route combos. And Alex, my brother Theo, he ran a route, kind of got the safety to come up on him, or not the safety, the cornerback. So then I just left Alex wide open, and Alex made a play. Helped me out a lot there.
But, and Alex hasn't touched the ball a whole lot this year. So for him to come out and score a couple of touchdowns for the homecoming game, as a senior for him, that's got to be pretty exciting. And I imagine you had to be excited to make that happen for him.
Yeah, I was definitely excited that Alex got a little involved. And I think that definitely boosts his confidence some too. And it also helps me out knowing that, like, I can rely on my guys, my wide receivers. I like that they can make plays sometimes.
Offensively on Friday, though, I look at the stats, and you guys put up a lot of points, but didn't have a lot of yardage on the ground for the game, which again has been a little bit uncharacteristic for you guys. On Friday night you didn't really need it, but that ground game has been really productive most of the season.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. So it was it probably could have shocked Medelia a little bit too, that we came out passing so much. But that's a good part of our game that we can hopefully keep up.
One thing that I noticed that jumped out at the stat sheet was you didn't attempt the single rush on Friday night. And considering that you came into the game as I think you're in the top 10 in the sub-district in rushing, that was a little unusual to see.
Yeah, it definitely was. But this week they kind of wanted to, even our varsity guys, like we came out after with the half, they wanted to keep us a little rested. But it was definitely different, and it kind of felt different because every time I brought in a play, I was like, oh, I know this ain't me. But it definitely was different, but we still came out on top, and that's all that matters to me.
How valuable was it for you to come up to varsity last year as a freshman and play on the defensive side rather than this year you're playing both ways, but you started out just on the defensive side last year as a freshman. How big was that for you?
For me, starting last year, it really felt nice. Like it was a good opportunity for me, and just even some of my teammates from last year, they helped me so much through football, and they've taught me so many things. But it was just quite an opportunity.
And late in the season last year, you also got some reps at wide receiver. How is that playing wide receiver helped you as a quarterback this year?
Playing wide receiver as a quarterback, it kind of helped me realize like somewhat how the defense can move and like what my receivers could do. Because like during the Hills game last year, our last game of the year that we sadly came up short, I was supposed to run it was like a post, but I kind of like veered it off a little bit because I seen an opening, and I just realized like if there's just one little thing, like some little things you can change, it can really make a difference.
Starting 0-2, I can't imagine that most people would have thought that entering the last game of the season, you guys would be playing for a shot at the number 1 seed in the section.
Yeah, a lot of people definitely did count us out. And our first 2 games, they were not our best games by far. And we had, especially that first game against Red Rock, we had a lot of like young, unexperienced kids, and we really didn't play our best game. But going from being 0-2 and then moving on, like that Edgerton win really boosted up a bunch of our confidence and then it got us going.
And you're going into Wednesday up at Nicollet, and if you win, you guys are going to be a top 2 seed.
Yeah, that's what, even after last week's game, we talked about that in the locker room, that we can't look these guys down, and we got to play them like they're defending state champs, because this is a big game for us.
How important was it to actually play the defending state champs this year?
It definitely felt good to get some payback on them, because I remember that was it was my second game starting, and it did not feel good when we lost, because those boys are not used to losing. They don't lose much, especially from those past teams, and it was a long bus ride home, and that's what we got to give them this year.
Nicolet's a team that puts the ball in the air a lot. And really this season, you haven't really seen a whole lot of teams like that. What's it going to take to win on Wednesday night?
It's definitely going to take a lot of hard reps at practice, because our pass coverage, we definitely need to have that doing good tomorrow night on Wednesday. But we're just going to have to execute pretty well during practice and then bring that onto a game.
Mm-hmm. And then the playoffs start on Tuesday night. And right now it's, looking like the road to the section finals in Marshall could go through Mountain Lake. That's got to be pretty exciting for a young team.
Yeah, we are really hoping that we can get there, and we're definitely going to do our best. I would say my most memorable sports moment is definitely homecoming game last year against Hills. They ran a screen, and I picked it off and took it to the house. That one definitely sticks with me. My playlist, I like mixing it up a little bit, but I like listening to some country music. I would definitely say Hills. Hills is really physical, and we always got to come ready for them. I think my teammates would describe me as a pretty good leader. I like hunting and fishing myself. That's what I mostly do. And then just anything with my friends, really.
Well, it should be all we need. Congratulations on a big win Friday. Best of luck the rest of the way, and thanks for joining us.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Royal Glass has over 17 years of experience specializing in auto glass. We are also here for your heavy equipment and farm machinery, as well as residential and commercial glass needs. When you need glass, call Royal Glass of Wyndham.